stop making these vocabulary mistakes, more specifically 3 ones. If you want to be fluent, if you want to go from stuck to speaking over the next 6 months. So stay with me until the end because I will also show you how to fix these mistakes, what you need to do instead, on your journey to fluency. If you don't know me very well, I am Teacher Prix, and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. You are invited to be part of this beautiful community of English learners because every week I am here creating the best English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. If you have already subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know what to do next. Hit the like button and share this lesson with a friend. Now, guys, we're going to talk about vocabulary, but more specifically, mistakes you need to stop making if you want to be fluent. Because here on my channel, I help specific students who are not beginners. They are basically at a pre-intermediate or intermediate level. I call this level the transition. Oh, there's so much change happening. And it's good. Change is good. But you're getting access to a lot of information. And learning how to use this information is essential if you want to be fluent. And this is typically the moment when students start to be stressed about vocabulary. Oh my God, I need to know more prepositions. I need to know more phrasal verbs. I need to know more expressions. I need to know more idioms and more and more and more. This is the moment that students tend to get very worried about vocabulary because they feel like, teacher, I can't speak because my vocabulary is poor. That's why I can't speak. So because they feel like their vocabulary is poor, they try to do more, and more. And it doesn't work. That's not how it goes. And let's focus on the mistakes. And this is something, guys, that I always do with my BSA. In my academy, my online program, and many students are asking me about my program right now. Today, the registration is not open. The registration will open again soon. Stay tuned in my social media because when I open, you will know. But this is something that I always talk to my babies. I call my students babies, BSA, baby sardine in the area. I help my students fix their vocabulary practices that block their fluency. And one thing that I always see my students in the academy is as they learn vocabulary the right way, they begin to be able to communicate more, express themselves more, because they're using the words they learn. Not a lot, not in an exaggerated way. They learn a lot of vocabulary, but not the way students who study completely alone do, And if you don't improve these mistakes, if you don't change them, you will be stuck on your journey to fluency. Now, that being said, vocabulary mistake 1, vocabulary overload. I get it. You finished the basic practice. Now you feel like you need to do more. But that's not the way to go. Less is more, okay? And here, this is what happens. You have that impression, you have that feeling that you need to include more vocabulary in your practice. And consequently, you spend a lot of time on vocabulary. Every day there's a new word. Every day you find 3, 4, 5 words. I know some people on the internet, some students who send me messages, who send me emails, that they have a daily goal of new words they're going to learn. And I'm like, that's bonkers. Crazy. That's crazy. You shouldn't treat your journey to fluency that way. And what happens? You keep doing this, and you don't get better. You don't improve. Why? Because you're following the wrong strategy. With time, students feel insecure, students feel frustrated because they're not getting better. In their mind, they're like, but I study so many words. What is wrong with me? What's wrong with my brain? What's wrong with my ability to learn? All these questions start to occupy a lot of space in your mind, and you get stuck. And this is a terrible problem. You need to be very careful about this. Because if you keep treating your vocabulary practice this way, every day, more, and more, you will cause a vocabulary overload and you will not move forward. Okay, you will move the other way, backwards. You will not make progress the way you are expecting. Not to mention, we need to be realistic with our practice. There are millions of words you can learn, but that's not how you're going to be fluent. That's not how you're going to go from stuck to speaking over the next 6 months. That's what I teach my babies, how to go from stuck to speaking. And speaking has nothing to do with knowing all the words, but knowing how to use them. Okay? Now, vocabulary mistake number 2. As a beginner, you focused on vocabulary translation. This is bad. And you keep doing this till this day. This is how you learned vocabulary when you were a beginner, and this is how you still do it. And this, my friends, will only make you slow down when it's time to speak. That's why you feel like, oh my God, I'm trying to speak English, but I in my head, I'm translating everything. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, go back to the beginning. Go back to when you started your journey to fluency. Nobody told you that you had to be careful with the translation you used, with how much translation you used. Nobody showed you good strategies to learn vocabulary while you're using your visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning channels. How to use your environment, how to use context, how to use emotions to help you learn vocabulary more efficiently and not just translate. And this will make it even more difficult for you to understand how to use the words in English. Translating only means immediate and temporary comprehension. That's temporary comprehension. That's why I'm so against it, because you have that immediate satisfaction. Like curiosity killed the cat. You just killed your curiosity. But fluency is not just about being curious and having a quick fix, a quick answer. It's more than that. That's why you need to, this is a bad mistake, that if you keep doing this from the beginning and until now at this level, when it's time to speak, you will go slowly. You will feel stuck. Someone is going to look at you and ask you a question, and you're going to be like, in your mind, and you will not know how to do this quickly because you have been conditioning your brain to think slowly. Because all this process of translating, creating is structure, not to mention that we have another problem here, grammar. Speaking is not just about words, but it's about structure. Structure. If you don't learn how to do that in English, you're stuck. You're in big trouble. Now, guys, before I move on with mistake number 3 and the recommendations of what you need to do, make sure to make sure to support my channel by subscribing. It really helps. I want to be here with you, and the more people join, the more I know that I am in the right direction. And when you like this video, and especially when you share this lesson, you are helping me tremendously. These lessons are free. I take the time to prepare them, come here and do my very best. So this is how you can support the channel. And if you want a little more, I have excellent recommendations for you. My study plan cycle, which focuses on helping people organize their study plan. So if you're feeling a little lost, if you don't know how to organize vocabulary, reading and listening practice, if you don't know how to include speaking in your practice, this study plan, my friend, is the one for you. And another special product I have is my listening mastery workshop, because in this practice I show you how to better understand native speakers. I'll show you the 5 best practices, and even as a bonus I give you a 7-day listening plan so that you can implement the recommendations I give. So this is not my academy, but they're excellent products if you're not my BSA yet, so I recommend. But now, mistake number 3, you don't teach your brain to use the words you learn. Now you see here on the screen, it's a screenshot from my platform where my students, my babies, post their examples. Because in every module of my program, my students learn new words. Yes, they do. In every lesson in the academy, in the workshops, group conversation classes, I am always teaching my babies new words, of course. But there is a condition, a very important one. To learn a lesson, I must use it. That's the number one rule I give my babies. To learn a lesson, I must use it. So here, this screenshot is from some students posting their examples. And here, the words that the babies used in this particular screenshot was speak your mind, to be in someone's shoes, put the blame on someone, to be aware of, empathetic. So this BSA created examples with those words, expressions, verbs. And she connected with her life. And this is something that students don't do when they are not following a program like mine, like my academy, when they're just studying vocabulary and watching lessons on the internet. I have lessons here on my channel, vocabulary lessons. If you don't teach your brain to use the words you learn, you get stuck. You will not improve. This is why the second mistake, the translation thing, is so dangerous to you. Because if you just translate, you're having the immediate satisfaction. You're killing your curiosity. But that's a temporary fix. That's a temporary solution. If you want to truly understand how to use a word, you need to give examples. So with my students, I always make sure that they use the words they learn. If you don't do this, you are making a big mistake that will make you stuck. And no matter how many words you learn, you're just having temporary satisfactions. You're just temporarily killing your curiosity. And that's not why you should study vocabulary. Now, I'm not saying that you can never have a fun, chill moment to learn something cool, something silly or crazy. But I'm talking about fluency. I'm talking about the ability to go anywhere, anytime, and talk to anyone with confidence. That's what I teach my students, okay? Now, what do you do, Teacher Prix? What do I do? For mistake number 1. Okay, guys, mistake number 1, less is more. So here, I want you to focus on a weekly practice, okay? Think of your practice as a week or as a 10-day practice. That's basically what I do with my students. I help them focus on a week or 10 days or 2 weeks. And in that period of time, you're going to pick a number of useful words. Now, here's the catch. This may be a little challenging for you because you're alone, you're not in a program like mine, but ideally, you should focus on studying words that are connected with another part of your practice. I talk about that a lot here on my channel. So a practice that is a practice such as reading, listening. So the words you're going to learn, they are not separate from your reading and from your listening practice. They are connected. So you're going to read something, you're going to listen to something, and in those materials, you're going to study the vocabulary that you find there, because I am sure that if you follow these recommendations, you will always find new words from reading and new words from the listening practice. That's why this is a weekly practice. This is something you're going to think of in number of days. When I am studying, right now I'm studying modal verbs. I'll be studying modal verbs for the next 2-3 weeks. And the things I read, the things I listen to will focus on the possible conversations that we have when using modal verbs. And I am sure that I am going to learn quite a lot of new words, but always focusing on the materials I'm using in the reading, in the listening. So this would be a good thing for you to do. The next one, for mistake number 2, you are going to stop translating and focus on explanation. Explaining words to your brain will make you think faster in English. And as a result, you will stop having that feeling that I can't speak. Because when you condition your brain to explain, you start to do that in conversations. You will still forget words in English. I forget words in English. This happens to all of us at any level. But when you condition your brain to explain, you continue the conversation. The listener doesn't even realize that you don't know a certain word. because you built this ability and you condition your brain to explain rather than panic and freeze because you don't know the best expression or the best verb. You just explain. And that's what you need to be doing if you want to go from stuck to speaking over the next 6 months. I am positive that if you stop translating and focus more on explanations, contextualizations, finding good examples on the internet, you will unlock your English fluency and feel much more confident talking to people in English anywhere, anytime. I like this lesson very much. It's a good lesson. And tip number 3, for mistake number 3, make this a golden rule of your practice. To learn a lesson, I must use it. And whenever I say this, I rub my hand because maybe you don't know this, but I am a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and I like to anchor statements with strong emotions and physical movement. So to learn a lesson, I must use it. This is the golden rule you need to follow, especially with English vocabulary, actually with every English skill. Speaking, reading, listening, writing, vocabulary, pronunciation, intonation activities. You need to work on them actively. So here, as I did with my students, post examples, create examples, go on the internet and find examples with the words you're learning. I posted here before on my YouTube channel examples of websites you can use, not just dictionaries, but dictionaries of phrases where you type a word and then they will give you a list of phrases using the word you typed. Give food to your brain. Give examples, find examples, create your new examples, connect them with your life. This should be part of your practice in the reading, listening, in all these skills if you want to learn. Now, I have a challenge for you. I showed you these words. I'm not giving you the definition. You may know some of these words or not, but I want you to study them, speak your mind, to be in someone's shoes, put the blame on someone, to be aware of, empathetic, connect them with your life. Study these words. Google examples, Google sentences with these words, and then post examples here in the comments. Choose one or maybe 2, but practice. To learn a lesson, I must use it. So this is my challenge for you today. Don't simply watch this lesson. Study this lesson. Okay, this is the most important message I give my students. If you want to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, you gotta start using the lessons you study, the lessons you watch. Okay? Other than that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Make sure to get my study plan cycle, my listening mastery workshop to support the channel financially. But other than that, I'll see you later, alligator. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.